So the Triumph Bonneville Bobber has been around since 2016 and it's always been a head turner with that low slung single bobber style seat, those wide bars and those big fat chunky tyres. Now the question is it just a showpiece and is it a bike you'd want to live with every day? And is it worth that £13,000 price tag for the stock model? I'll tell you whether it's the ultimate weekend cruiser or whether it's all mouth and no action. So let's get into it. So the Bobber is part of Triumph's modern classic Bonneville range and it shares its impressive 1200cc parallel twin engine with its speedier brother, the Triumph Speed Twin. It's built to evoke that classic stripped back bobber style with its low slung solo seat, its minimal bodywork, wide bars and those big fat chunky wheels. There's a variety of colourways available as well as a limited edition TFC version with only 750 bikes being made at a whopping £17,000. You've got touches like the fake carb style throttle bodies for that heritage look, those big wide wire spoke wheels, slash cut twin exhausts, wide bars and of course that iconic solo floating seat which oozes pure bobber attitude. With the wide handlebars being that wide and the forward facing feet position, you've got a very relaxed riding style which is perfect for lazy cruising. Even with the standard pipes on this 1200cc Euro 5 Plus engine, the bike still sounds nice. So with a pair of aftermarket slash cut pipes, I'm sure you could really beef up that attitude and bring out the sound even more. In terms of spec, the bike shares the same engine as the Speed Twin 1200, although on the Bobber the motor is tuned for more low-down grunt and is noticeably more relaxed on its power delivery. It's all about smooth roll-on torque, not urgency, as you find in its sportier setups. Suspension, you have non-adjustable 47mm forks up front and the rear is a single monoshock with 77mm of travel. Braking, we see twin floating discs up front and a two-pot Brembo caliper, and the rear has a single-pot Nissin caliper with standard ABS. You've got two rider modes including road and rain, as well as cruise control as standard. You also have these big 16-inch wire spoke rims with two massive fat chunky tyres. In terms of styling, it looks like a true iconic bobber. They really have nailed it with the styling. It is a bike that definitely turns heads and it makes you smile when you see it just sat there. The floating seat, those wide bars, the old school feel combined with the modern components, you can see how and why this bike is still in production 8 years later. It's comfortable enough for relaxed cruising, although if you're smaller like me at only 5'5", you'll find you're sat more forward in the seat rather than back. For most riders, however, that low seat allows for a more relaxed, laid-back posture. The power delivery is smooth, if lacking slightly in character. It's a relaxing ride, which is built for cruising. So if I'm honest, for me, the ride felt a little bit muted, and that came down to the power delivery and the braking. Now for a bike tipping the scales at over 260 kilograms, those two-pot Brembo calipers up front don't give you the bite that you need or you desire. And that's what adds to that overall soft, muted feel with both the brakes and the power delivery. Now the power on the Bobber feels noticeably tuned down for that more relaxed type of ride. It's not that neck snapping off the mark power delivery if that's what you're after. Handling in busy traffic situations can also be a little cumbersome. Filtering is tougher than you'd expect with these wide handlebars and those fat tyres, so daily tasks could be a little bit more of a handful. If you're thinking of this as your daily bike, then there's obviously going to be some drawbacks. Things like the minimal storage and carrying a passenger or bags are obviously off limits with that single solo seat. The riding position makes sure you're just out for that gentle cruise. On winding fast roads, you feel this bike's limits. It's more suited to those straights and gentle curves than that faster paced riding. As mentioned, you've got two riding modes which are road and rain as well as cruise control, and I think that speaks volumes about what this bike is set up for, and that is cruising. The bike doesn't include sport mode on the standard version, but you do get that on the more expensive limited edition model. So if your priorities are attention grabbing style and you enjoy those lazy Sunday afternoon rides alone, then this bike is a good choice. Build wise, it's Triumph. It's not top of the scale, but it's also not bottom of the scale. It sits somewhere in the middle. So if those are your priorities and the only boxes you need ticking, then this is definitely the bike for you. So for me, this bike is an easy Sunday afternoon cruiser. When it comes to daily use, I think the bike's got its limitations. And at £13,000, in terms of the spec and build quality alone, you're stepping into BMW territory. One thing I forgot to mention about the bike was its fuel consumption. Now, when I picked it up, it had just under half a tank, and on a very short journey, those bars started to delete very quickly. When I took the bike back, I decided I was going to fill it up to return it back to that half tank mark, and I put £8 in, but that pretty much filled the rest of the bike up. So it seems as though the reading in the fuel gauge once it gets past halfway is not very accurate. So if you like your rides to be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more sedate, and a little bit more Sunday afternoon in terms of its vibes, then this is definitely the bike for you. However, if you've got 13 grand to spare and you're looking for something that's classically styled, can do a little bit of everything, and has got real high spec, high tech and phenomenal build quality, then why don't you check out my recent video on the BMW R NineT, which I'll link below. So I hope you found this video helpful. My light's just gone behind. I hope you find this video helpful and useful. And if you've got a bobber, you've had a bobber for a while, then why don't you get the comments going in the comments section below. Let us know, do you use it every day? How long have you owned it? Are you considering upgrading to the limited edition model? Have you put any upgrades on your bike? If so, what are they? Put them all in the box below, because the box below acts as a great resource for people that are making upgrades or even considering purchasing a bike. So please do comment in the box below. So all that's left for me to say in the meantime is safe riding, safe driving, happy adventures, and I'll see you in the next one.